I find it hard to believe that the Xbox Series X is already crossing the 3-year mark after launching towards the end of 2020, and being a PlayStation fanboy, I jumped across into the Xbox ecosystem not too long ago, and given the recent news around Game Pass, exclusivity, hardware, and the extensive use of Put It Through, here's everything you need to know that will give you some insights into what it's like to use the Series X if you're planning to buy one, and for those who own one already, all the updates that you missed. Buckle up and let's go for the ride. Kicking off with the console design. For a very long while, the Xbox console design language leaned towards a rectangular shape from the days of the Xbox One to the current generation of consoles, and even special edition consoles like the ROG Xbox tacked to the same form factor. Personally, I like the design as it blends nicely with the rest of the pieces on my media console. In saying that, what on the tech grapevine is pointing towards a design refresh this year, with the new console taking a cylindrical shape, which would be a nice change given that their counterparts on the other side of the fence released the PlayStation Slim not too long ago. Getting into the design nitty-gritty, I like the vent at the top, which not only adds an interesting design element but also plays an important role in heat dissipation when I'm locked in playing games like Forza Horizon 5. Moving along, the next obvious thing would be performance, and I'm sure you're most excited about that. When it comes to performance, the Series X absolutely delivers from the moment you turn it on. It boots up quite fast, and once you get into the user interface, it's snappy and I haven't encountered any input lag since I bought it. It also supports variable refresh rate, otherwise known as VRR, but since my TV has HDMI 2.0, I can only get 120 frames per second at 1080p, which to be honest is still decent. Despite that, I haven't experienced any screen tearing or dropped frames whilst playing, but by far the most impressive feature for me is the quick resume, which allows me to resume exactly where I left even if I decide to jump into another game, which saves precious seconds loading the game from the game save. While on the subject of games, we might as well talk about Game Pass and what Xbox has in store for the future. Just 2 days ago, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond and Matt Booty addressed the rumors circulating in the gaming grapevine around hardware, exclusivity and Game Pass. Speaking of Game Pass, if you've been playing games on the Xbox, you might have come across it, but for those who haven't, I'll quickly fill you in. So for about 18 Australian dollars per month or $11 per month for those in the United States, you get new releases as soon as they come out and access to the entire Game Pass library. Now, as far as the discussion on the Xbox podcast went, Sarah Bond and Matt Booty confirmed Game Pass will remain an Xbox and PC thing, and not as rumors out there suggested it would be opening up to Nintendo and Sony. Now, for those who are new to the Xbox world and have been playing a lot of games, this is a good way to save coin as it's more cost effective compared to purchasing games at full price every time they launch. For context, over here in Australia, that's usually anywhere between 100 to 150 Australian dollars, and if you do the math over time, it can get quite expensive as opposed to paying $18 a month and accessing all the games in the Game Pass library, and that's not all. You can also play games that are not exclusive to Xbox, which is way better compared to purchasing them at full price on the PlayStation 5, and it doesn't stop there. Talking of exclusivity, one of the rumors that was being floated around for quite some time was that Xbox would go the route of Sega and fully open up their games library to other platforms like Sony and Nintendo, although Phil Spencer refuted the rumors but confirmed they would be opening up 4 games which he didn't name, and when asked if they were Starfield or Indiana Jones, he didn't give a definitive answer.
So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Listening to that, I had to jump into the weeds of Reddit and try and find out the 4 titles in the rumor mill, and what on the street is Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. Whether that's true remains to be a question of time. Moving to the opposite end of Xbox opening up Game Pass and giving games to other platforms, Xbox will be adding Diablo 4 to Game Pass later on in March, which comes as no surprise after their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. As for the hardware related news, this is one area they just glossed over and never gave anything definitive, but like mentioned a little earlier, since we are already mid-cycle, the rumored cylindrical console would be an excellent refresh to go head to head with Sony's new PS5 Slim. All the news aside, getting back to the Series X, another feature that I've enjoyed is backward compatibility, which to be honest brings loads of nostalgic memories from childhood, and the best part is some of the games stretch back to the first Xbox console. Let me know what your favorite game was back in the day. Mine was Def Jam Fight for New York. Another feature they have is developer mode, which allows you to download an emulator and install games from way back in the day. While on the topic of games, the controllers are the perfect segue to it, given that they essentially help you pull the strings in whichever game you play. Since release, we've seen a myriad of them, from the stock one that comes with the console, the Pulse Red, the Shock Blue, Scarf Instinct, the 20th anniversary controller, and my favorite of them all, the Xbox Elite controller, which I've got a long time review coming in a few weeks. Starting with the stock controller that comes with your console, I like the simple design that's carried on from the days of the original Xbox controller minus the attached cable. When it comes to battery life, they can last an eternity thanks to the AA batteries they come with, which to be honest I have a love-hate relationship with. On the one side, they last an eternity, which is every gamer's dream, but on the flip side, who still uses AAA batteries in their controllers? Even remote controls of the TV are rechargeable nowadays. In saying that, if Microsoft went the rechargeable route in the next generation console, they probably won't last as long as the AAA ones, although the 40 hours on the Xbox Elite controller is no mean feat compared to the 5 to 8 hours on the DualSense Edge controller. Speaking of the Xbox Elite controller, I like the extra features it comes with, which have allowed me to customize the controller to suit my gaming needs. Be it the triggers, the levers, I'm spoiled for choice, not to mention the customizations I can make aesthetically, like swapping the thumbstick and directional heads. If you'd like to find out more about the Xbox Elite controller, make sure you sub to the channel to find out how it's fared over the past year. Moving along, we can't talk about controllers without mentioning accessories, and the good thing is they're not just limited to the controllers. Starting with the controller stands, these elevate the overall aesthetic of the space and also help make the controllers look elegant. At the time of recording, my units had not arrived, so be on the lookout for an accessory video. Another one is the Xbox remote control, which makes it easier to navigate the screen if you decide to use your Xbox as an all-in-one entertainment console, be it gaming, watching movies on Netflix, or watching YouTube videos. As for the price, they're quite affordable and would only cost you around 25 Australian dollars. Another cool accessory would be the expansion card from Seagate, which allows you to add extra storage to the 1TB that comes with the console. Since a lot of the accessories I've mentioned are a video in itself, I'll leave that for the dedicated video, so make sure you sub to the channel so that you don't miss out. Having talked about storage, we might as well take a deep dive into what you get with the Series X. Out of the box, it comes with a 1TB drive, of which 800 gigs are usable. Now, for someone who doesn't play many games, you won't have to worry about this, but those who like to try out different games, that would fill up in no time, and that's where the expansion drive I talked about a little earlier comes in. Something to note though, in as much as you can use other storage drive to store your games, the only one that can support your games is the Seagate expansion drive, and they come in 3 different variants: 512 gigs, 1TB and 2TB. Moving along, another area worth touching on is the Xbox app, which has come in handy in many different ways, be it seeing updates, notifications, friend requests, and that's not all. I've also been able to view my game capture straight from the console after linking it to the app, and if you're thinking that was it just continues to give. It also allows you to see your game's catalog, how much storage they are taking, so if you wanted to get rid of any games, you can easily delete it and download another one just from the app. When it comes to the user interface, I haven't had any troubles with it, as everything is quite snappy and not even once have I experienced any input lag. It's also quite user friendly. Even a novice when it comes to video games can easily grasp the interface within a few hours of use. I also like the fact that you can choose the color theme of your interface and adjust the brightness of your controller and console light. As for the disk drive, I hardly use it unless I want to play some of my nostalgic games from back in the day. Other than that, most of my games are downloaded from the store. Having got to the bottom of the meat and potatoes of the Xbox Series X, the question that sticks out is, should you buy the Xbox Series X? To answer that question, a list of factors come into play. First, given that we are already halfway through this current generation of the Xbox console, in this case the Series X, a mid-cycle refresh is likely to happen, and with rumors of a cylindrical console rife in the tech grapevine, I'd suggest you wait for that. But if you can't come your each, the rectangular Xbox Series X would do just fine. For those who already have the Xbox Series X, recent news around Game Pass, exclusivity, the hardware have been met with lots of mixed reactions, but at least for me, excitement overrides everything given what Xbox has in store for us. On the opposite side, for those looking to get the Series X, the games look fantastic and run incredibly smooth, not to mention the quick resume feature which gets you back in the thick of the action as if you never left. Game Pass on the other hand is another big plus given the advantages it brings, from the ability to play games on the day they release to playing cross-generational titles from back in the day at only 18 Australian dollars, which is just mind-blowing given the amount of money it saves you compared to when you buy a single game at a time. With all that in mind, if the trends we've seen in the past are anything to go by, the next generation of Xbox consoles might come in 3 years, so if you intend to get the rectangular Xbox Series X, it will do just as fine as the cylindrical rumored Xbox Series X. Well, there you have it, peeps. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. To watch a review of the Series X counterpart across the fence, check out this video. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you on the next one.